now I think we're on. Well, 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 well. All right. For me, this is going to be take two. Um, the first take went about as cringy as this episode is going to go. The difference is I'm going to save it as the proper file type because I did the whole thing. I did my whole first episode. I was excited afterwards. I was like, as cringy as it was going to be, I was really excited to see what the final product was going to come out like. And I mean, it came out all right, but I couldn't edit it because I could not convert the file afterwards. Anyways, so for many, this is just going to be perceived as take one, but me, I'm gonna go through this one as take two. I'm still exhausted from from the first episode, because I put the whole script on the line there. Anyways, we're just gonna redo it. The episode is probably gonna go a little slightly faster. You won't, whoever's listening or watching won't notice the difference, but yeah, hopefully I don't want to rush it. I guess is sort of my point. I don't want to rush myself. In any case, starting a podcast is what you do when you're nonchalantly going through a quarter life crisis. So here we are. The name is Drigo Rose. Welcome to the first episode of hopefully many of the Drigo podcast. I'm calling it the Drigo podcast because I don't have a better name. To be honest, I don't like the ring or the sound to it, but it is what it is. Um, it's a new era. It's it's time. Let's do this. So I could sit here and talk all day about myself, because I'm like that. But the reality is, more things about myself are probably going to come to light as each episode goes on, and as I you know either talk about information that I'm going through, or perhaps somebody who I'm perhaps a guest who I'm talking to. Um, and in so doing, I also learn more about the guests and hopefully the viewers, if any. If there aren't, then I get to say what I want and I won't have to cringe as much. So if you're not here watching or listening to this, then that's great for me because I don't have to worry about anything. If you are, I'm going to cringe, but at the same time, also welcome. So it's a win win for me. Okay. That's the other thing. You know what? I noticed after the first recording that I said the word a lot. I have to stop that. This is this, yeah, like right, right in that fucking. Uh, it's so habitual. It's so habitual. In any case, I want to put it on the line, and so if as it, because you know what, I was watching and listening to the first rendition of this recording, and I was mind boggled by how many times I say the word. It's ridiculous. The word and pretty much the same in regards to like if you're the listener, but I don't know. It's just how I've always spoken, and I think it's about time to fix that. And hopefully, the podcast, this format, will be able to fix that for me. In any case, the reason I brought that up is because I caught myself doing it, and then it reminded me of like me cringing at myself watching the other recording. So, in any case, like I said, I could talk about myself all day and all night, but if there's anybody viewing or listening, they're going to learn more about me as time goes on through each episode. Um, because if not, there's no point in learning everything about me in this one episode because one, that's boring, and then two, anybody who's not going to stick around is not going to stick around anyway. So that information about me is kind of useless anyway. So we'll just save that for pieces and pieces in the near future because I also think that it goes part and parcel with me learning about the the viewers again, if any, or listeners again, if any. Um, and so, yeah, that's out of the way. All right. what else do I have? I have, bullet points, so just work with me here. I'm not I don't have a flow to this just yet. So, you know, well, maybe you don't know. I don't know. I don't know. These crutch words are wild, that they always make me say things that I don't want to say and take the conversations to like a slight sidewalk of a digression that I don't want to take ever. So it if somebody's listening or viewing, they might not even notice it, but I notice it, and it's very distracting. In any case, let's keep going here. Right. Yeah. So, okay. Right. So, a few things that I do want to get out onto the table, because a few things that I want to get out onto the table about myself. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about myself, but the few things that I do want to get out, I want to get them out on the table just because they also serve as a way to uh, see what the content might be in the future. Many people know, I shouldn't say many, a few people know some of these interests, but if there's anybody who doesn't, um, we'll get them out of the way right now. Some quick ones are like geopolitics, sports, religion, philosophies, different sciences. All those like domains interest me so much. There's so much to talk about in those domains. So much innovation and excuse me, so much innovation, controversy, and progression is all within those domains. Not that they aren't in any, but those are the ones that specifically interest me. They're very vague domains. I understand that. I didn't want to again go into like the wild specifics because those are going to be figured out over time. In any case, again, geopolitics, sports, religion, philosophies, different sciences, awesome stuff, really cool. Um, I feel like when I put different sciences, I also want to include like astrophysics, like things that have to do with space. I cannot comprehend them, but they're just absolutely fascinating. Right. So the second bullet point that I have here is sort of a disclaimer. I'm not a professional. I'm not a financier. I'm not a financial professional. I'm assuming those things are different. I am not a health expert. I am not a political expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not none of that. I'm just a dude with a goddamn microphone. That's all I am. And so take what I have to say with a grain of salt. There are maybe some things that I talk about in the future that I may be very passionate about, and I may speak on them as if they are facts. Of course, if there are things that are factual, we'll go over them. Um, for sake of time, we may just quickly breeze by them, assuming the consensus in that conversation is agreed upon enough to keep the flow going. Because there's a happy point. I shouldn't say happy point. A middle point. A middle point akin to happiness, I guess. There's a middle point in conversation, in very important conversation, where you don't want to go through each little micro detail and confirm everything. There's usually a consensus of things of that are confirmed just to keep the conversations going. And if there's variables that are really important and really big and cannot be under or overstated, those are usually put to a highlight. That's where the facts come in, or statistics come in, or maybe the citation comes in. In any case, the point is, I just want to get through a disclaimer. I'm not a professional on any case, so don't. I'm not a lawyer. Don't take what I have to say with a grain of salt. I'll put it that way. As you should for most. You don't want to just agree upon every single thing you see and hear on the internet, and so let's avoid that. I just want to have this format, for good conversation. We're about to get to other reasons why I want to have it, but in essence, I just want to make the disclaimer because man, some people take things way above and beyond where they're supposed to go, and I don't want to do that. Let's So yeah, disclaimer: I'm no professional. Take what I have to say with a grain of salt. Please, 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 please do that. Hopefully this isn't too low. I feel like the volume is oh, that's wild. An alarm rings and it stops the recording. So hold on. All right, this is going to be the second part of the podcast. Unfortunately, I don't I was trying to avoid cuts. I was really trying to avoid cuts, but I think I'm going to have to do one. I At this point I don't even know if the iPhone was recording, but all I know is that when an alarm rings and you're using your phone, it stops the recording. I find that to be the stupidest thing. If somebody calls you, alarm rings, there's probably a bunch of other things, other features in a phone that'll stop a video recording. I feel like if you're recording video, it should take precedence over everything else. So, anyways, we're back to it. This is quasi part 2. You know, I'm gonna combine it into one, hopefully seamlessly. But if it's not seamless, then this is kind of why I'm saying it, so that way you know that there's 2 parts, because the alarm on my phone rang. All right, we're back to it. Last that I was speaking upon was a disclaimer. I cannot overstate that enough. That's why I'm going to repeat it for maybe like the 6th time here, because uh, I'm not. Let's just keep the beef outside. You know what I'm saying? Uh, not to say, you know, let's not put a spotlight on things, on incorrect information. That's one thing, but uh, approaching what I may say in the future, or what others may say here in the future, with extreme seriousness, as if it's going to be the end of the world, or we're going to change the entire landscape of things in the most negative way, because some people be acting like that. I mean, it's really at the core of like what we call Karens. You know, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Anyways, okay, we got that out of the way. The idea of disclaimers annoy the hell out of me. Okay. Real quick before I move on, if you've made it this far already, awesome. I I'm on the side that nobody has even started watching this, let alone made it this far. So if you fit either or both of those, thank you very much. Let's proceed. All right. On a lighter note, I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I think that's I I've always wanted to do a podcast, but it's more than just, at least for me, it's always been more than just grabbing a microphone and recording. Um, I don't know. There's something that's like that keeps distracting me here. Anyways, I've always wanted to do a podcast. I've always wanted to do one of these things, man. They're so cool. Everybody's starting a podcast nowadays, and I'm not saying that because everybody's starting one, I want to start one. Many people who've known me for years know that I've always wanted to have one. There's just been other projects that I've put in priority over those, because I've wanted to do those projects even more than this. This is a whole other undertaking in and of itself, especially if it's, you know, if you're somebody who's working a job, which at the time, through all the projects that I've had in the past, you know, I always had multiple jobs, sort of on the side of those, and other responsibilities that didn't really allow me to take on too many projects. But I've put myself in a position nowadays where I want to make my life basically about all the projects that I want to do, because I'm so sick and tired of not doing them. So you know, it's like I sort of laugh right there with like kind of like a tear, you know, like anger on one side, tear on the other, and then a smile for the laughs. It's like multiple emotions in there mixed in. But you know what? At the end of the day, here we are. We're here. We're recording the first episode of the Drigo podcast, and it's going to be a boring one. I don't want this episode to be wildly long. I just want to get the introductory episode out of the way, make all the cringy mistakes as soon as possible. That way I have more and more time to iron them out. And I figured, you know what, let me get one episode through and through, just out there, sort of as an introduction to the show, as well as to myself a little bit, and to just, you know, sort of warm things up. Um, so yeah, with what I was doing in my past, with those projects that I had, for the record, you know, for those who don't know, again, if anybody's watching, if you don't know, I'm mostly a music producer. I've been producing music for years. It was always more of a hobby. It was never something that I was going to I that I was gonna take off as a career. It was something that I did try to make as a career multiple times, but I would just fall out of love with it once you start getting into the business side of it. So uh, these past couple years, I've been wanting to put myself into a position where I could do music production, make a make it profitable, but not make it my primary source of income because I don't want the business aspect of it to make me fall out of love with it because music production and music in and of itself has become a domain that has saved me many times and many others as well. It's a beautiful therapeutic domain. It's amazing, and it's really fun collaborating with other artists and creators. So I didn't want I want to put myself in a position where I can leverage my music skills at the very minimum for myself in a profitable way that won't make me have a negative light on music. So, with that said, podcasting, here we are. It's one of the many projects that I hope to use as leverage for not only myself, but for other artists and guests and creators who I may collaborate with, as well as, as well as leveraging all the different projects that I have lined up. I really can't wait to get started on a lot of them. And as a really quick aside, hopefully I'm not saying too much. I know I've said it quite a bit. I kind of keep catching myself. I'm not gonna put a highlight on it every single time that I say it, except for this kind of one time. So back at it. That's just my mind getting with all the distractions. Real quick, actually, one of the things that I wanted to do at the start of this episode. Let's see, yeah, you could see it in this camera right here. One of the things that I wanted to do in this episode was going to be hitting the Benjamin at the start of it because I'm not gonna lie, I was watching the first take of this recording of this first episode. Not this exact one that's recording right now, but again, the file got corrupted, so or not corrupted. I couldn't convert the file, so that is long gone. That was yesterday's recording. In any case, I made the same mistake, and then I hit the Benjamin towards the end of the episode. But even those like last 20 minutes of the episode where I was stoned beyond belief, oh, I would oh I was so cringy, man. But it was funny. It was funny watching it, and so that's why it's like even if nobody's watching or listening, I was laughing at myself. So we're gonna go for round two, and I just think it's the way to do things. So this is definitely gonna upkick the word quite a lot. But here we go. First, actually, let me take a sip of water because I'm quite thirsty. Ah, yeah, that's about right. Okay, yeah, let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Para arriba, para abajo, para el centro y adentro. I don't want to KMS, so we'll just do a 5 second rip. You know what I'm saying? I don't. This battery doesn't have blinkers, so this shit will just cook, bro. And I usually about 5 seconds. After about 5 seconds, oh yeah, ahí estamos. After about 5 seconds, man, you get like this. It's kind of wild. I was talking to a buddy of mine. I remember. Funny enough, we worked with each other, but I met him before we started working with each other. And he was actually one of my plugs. Funny enough, and so I pull up. I hit him up for cards. This was back when Bud was illegal in Connecticut and in New York. And I hit him up and I said, we were about to transact for one of these carts, and he sees my battery device. And for anybody who's listening, I have one of these like mini eye sticks. I don't know. It's like E-Leaf trademark. I don't know. It's a stupid thing. It was like $15. But I bought it years ago and it's still alive, and it's one of the best batteries ever. I mean, I love this thing. This thing, I'm not sponsored. I'm not getting paid for this. This little freaking device is absolutely fantastic. I feel like it has a really vague name. Again, it's an E-Leaf mini eye stick. Dude, this thing is unreal. It's lasted forever. I usually also don't like overcook any of my stuff. I usually keep it at like medium to low wattage, and I usually rip it for about 5 or 6 seconds. 7 if I'm really feeling crazy. But in any case, awesome thing. And I right, I digress too much. See, it's already working. This pendulum is already working overtime. So I see my buddy and I see him hit it, and I'm like, yo, I have the same battery, and so we got the same battery, and like, so even this battery started a friendship. So it's phenomenal battery. In any case, let's get back to it. Got the Benjamin hit out of the way. I need a little bit more water. So yeah, like I said, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a very long time. Um, the sports world is always going through wild things. I do, however, I don't regret missing it because of of the things, because sort of what I just mentioned, because I had different ambitions. I definitely would have never done it, and I have other regrets. But so regret would be the wrong word to use. In any case, I do feel in a sense, from a podcasting perspective, I personally missed out on an opportunity uh, to talk about sports, while the sports that I grew up with, I shouldn't say that I grew up with, that a lot of people, grew up with worldwide, but I was part of it. Uh, I missed out on the conversational gold that was happening within the sports world. I'll put it that way. Um, People can debate, about what they think about LeBron versus James, but that aside, we had LeBron, who's arguably, not saying he is, not saying he's not, arguably the greatest of all time in basketball. Okay, just saying, if he's not, he was definitely the guy to talk about in basketball. In worldwide football, you have Messi. People talk about Ronaldo. To me, it's not even close, but we could get to that in a different episode. The point is, we had Messi. Then in the NFL and American football, we had Tom Brady, and Belichick. The coaching and player duo, something that we've never seen before. I mean, I'm younger, so I know I've missed a lot out on the NFL, but I have watched a lot of the NFL games from the past, and I love sports, and from what I'm seeing, like you Tom Brady changed the quarterbacking game. What Bill Belichick and the Patriots did. As a Giants fan, for by the way, um, again, so all of this is to say that there are these like pinnacles that we might not see either ever or for a very long time, and I I felt like I missed on broadcasting a perspective to the world in each of those respective sports topics. And so that's why I also want to have that as like sort of an incorporation. I don't know to what extent I'm going to do sports, but I just feel like, yo, Drigo, like there's stuff to talk about, man. Like, the sports world is wild. Now, I feel like, yes, there's always going to be like greats in certain sports, but man, we really missed out on. Sorry, not we missed out. Again, from the podcasting perspective, I missed out on talking a lot about that, because I had great conversations with a lot of family and friends about these things, but you know, those conversations are gone, and sometimes I'm like, damn, bro, because some of those are really good. I hit the pendulum, so I wouldn't be able to remember what the conversation was about. That's the other great thing about this is, like, again, even if nobody's watching, I get to freaking finally record some of these thoughts. So moving on, that's like the sports domain. Then there's like the geopolitical landscape. I mean, come on, election time is around the corner. Um, Things are always getting wild. There's a couple wars out there, no big deal. Um, Stuff to talk about. I'm not gonna get into the specifics. I kind of got too specific into the sports because I love sports, but I had to walk out of that. I don't want to get into the crazy specifics because that's the whole point of this show. Is a lot of these things are gonna get their own spotlights in different episodes, or at least that's the goal. Uh, so again, yeah, this format has been a favorite of mine for a very long time, and for many others, of course, as well. And how can it not be? It's fantastic. You can listen to podcasts, you can watch a podcast, and if you're listening to it, you can do it while you're showering, driving, and so in a way, you can multitask using a brain that isn't usually known. I want to say like it isn't usually known for multitasking because most people aren't that good at multitasking. I think there's a bit of research on that. It's something I found. I'm not saying nobody's good at it. Of course, there's many people that are great at multitasking. Um, the point that I'm trying to make is, I'll put it this way. I know I'm not very good at multitasking, so like let that not be a projection. I'm just reiterating something that, or I'm regurgitating something that I've seen. In any case, everything aside, what I'm really trying to get at is that podcasting allows you to intake information in a much more efficient way than normal. You know what I'm saying? For example, I'm not a good reader at all, and so it's not that I can't read. I can read, but when I get lost very easily if I'm reading a novel or literature. I can do articles because usually they're a lot shorter, but long form written text, no good at. And so things like podcasting really help me out. Again, the podcasting world is huge, so obviously it has a lot of utility for everybody in regards to, again, multitasking, but more specific regarding that with information, the informational domain. So, yeah, again, those are some things as to like why I'm here, kind of like what I got planned. There's a lot of other projects that I have planned as well, regards to in regards to music. I've never been good at publishing my musical projects. That's something I want to not only hold myself more accountable for, but also to just publish them. I this is another the goal for this. Again, if I haven't mentioned it already, one of the goals or the utilities of this podcast is going to be is always going to be leverage. If or I shouldn't say it's always going to be leverage, because again, if nobody's viewing, then I get to record all these things, and perhaps I can turn each episode, again, even if they all have 0 viewers, into something else. I can use all the information that perhaps I'm going through it into something else, because that compounding information always helps. So, again, going back to the point of leverage, though, I'm hoping that I can use this show. What I don't know what I really want to call it. If it is, it's not really a show yet. It's just I got a camera, a microphone, and like that's it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't even shaved, so it ain't good. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, here we are, nonetheless. Yeah, I am very stoned. Let's continue here. Yeah. So just to finish, just to tie the knot on that, got a lot of things planned, not just in the podcasting domain, but I want to use the podcasting world as a point of leverage for perhaps other projects, collaborations, et cetera, et cetera. So there we go. Cool. We're over that. Again, if you've somehow made it this far, you're a damn trooper. Like, high five for you. If I had a beer and you had a beer, I'd give a toast. But anyways, purpose of the show. I'm just kind of reading my bullet points here. I think we kind of already went in. Actually, I will talk about on something regarding this. the purpose for this show, in a generalized sense, is going to be for information, perspective, and entertainment. Um, the goal is to always have fun doing certain things. Right now, it may not seem like it because of how stoned I am, but I'm having a blast. This episode is not going to serve much utility because it's not going to be informative. But again, I can use future episodes down to the minimum, at the least for myself. Oh, that's right. Cool. So, I think one last thing that I wanted to touch upon, at least with this podcast. Um, I'll put it this way. It's kind of, it's a very easy subject to talk about. It's just the wording of it is I'm never that good with articulation. Again, I have like bullet points, but that would mean that I would need excellent notes to be completely clear and concise with this. I will say this. One of the reason why I'm bringing this last point up is because I'm not sure how to solve the news crisis other than to attempt a podcast. Anyone can grab a microphone, and a lot of people have access to the internet. So it's very easy in general to do this. So me starting this up is really not a big deal at all. And it doesn't have to be. I don't really care that it isn't. But at the end of the day, modern news is definitely not the way to go. Whatever I end up doing with this, I will say is I hopefully it will never turn into what modern news has turned into nowadays. It is despicable. Tongue twister right there because of the damn cottonmouth. Yo, Poland Spring, my boy. We need to chat. Anyways, so yeah, I'm not really sure how to solve that crisis of having like a terrible news system. I mean, it's despicable. It's disgusting. I do not like it. Many others don't, but it's still around because a lot of people still do. And I know many people who will happily watch hours and hours of Fox or CNN, both, and all the ones in between. A lot of them, it's wild because, they'll throw like the weather on and then they'll just throw politics at you. Like, weather and politics. What a combination. Like, in a way, they're so parallel yet so perpendicular. I don't know. I don't know how else to articulate that. It's so wild. Like, at least to me, maybe I'm just having a really stoned moment, but again, I've always, I keep speaking as if I'm the only one that has the issue. The massive problem of modern news broadcast is absolutely wild. I don't even know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it. There's a line between news and world dynamic changing events. And I think that's as generalized as that is. I think that at least is pointing at the direction of the core issue of modern news. I mean, people can't have a decent conversation. I mean, this isn't anything new. No pun intended. It's okay. Let me put it this way. I guess the point that I'm trying to get at overall is I am not going to try to become a news network. I don't want to try to become a news network. Uh, I'm hoping that I do not become a news network, assuming that that's not what I just said in the line before the one that I just said. At some point, modern broadcasting has just reached a point of repeating and not reporting. That's where I think there's kind of like a line between news and world changing events, world slash dynamic changing events. I'll put it that way. News can sort of be created. Let me put it this way. Throughout, I mean, I don't know if it's, this may still hold true today. I stopped watching modern news. I can't, legitimately cannot watch that stuff. When I was watching, when I would go through, let's say Fox was the one to me, like where I really caught this. When I would go through Fox, it would have, it would say breaking news every day. You know, I say that like I was watching it every day. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Every day that I watched it, I would see that. You know, if I'm changing channels and I'd see it, you know, of course, breaking news, and it would catch my attention because that was like the natural inclination of what they were trying to do, right? To the generalized viewers. And I was mostly into sports news, so I watched worldwide news and local news kind of very passively. Nonetheless, the colors and the size and the text, you know, they did their job. And you know, it would, I'm just like, okay, and then I would probably like let it run for a few minutes, and then I would just see, and then over time I'm like, yo, I thought I heard I thought I heard Zohan over here. So I guess Zohan is gonna make a cameo in the first episode. Where you at, buddy? What's up, man? Yeah, I don't know which camera's got him. This camera. I gotta move the mic here. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Zohan makes an appearance. I think it's a great timing. I think Zohan's timing is fantastic. I thought I heard him uh say something like, I thought I heard him kind of like low barking in the hallway, and I think he was dreaming. It was hard to hear with the headset on though. What's up, Bubba? I think he wants to leave already. Yeah, he doesn't like he doesn't like when doors are closed on rooms. I normally don't close doors on him. Every door is open for him. But there he is. Yep. He's such a good boy. Dude, being stoned and then like being with a dog is one of the best things in the entire world. And I don't know about you, but I have a golden retriever, and the best. Goated Goldens. Yeah, Bubs, you want to go back out? No? All right. I don't know if this camera is able to catch that. I sort of angled it upwards. In any case, yeah, we've gotten way out of track. I wanted to do this in one take. Yeah, there he is. What's up, Bubba? What's up? All right, come on. All right. In any case, I wanted to do this in one take, but I'm gonna have to cut it up at least a little bit. There's some times that I basically just blanked out or zoned out. Sorry. Um, guess that can mean the same thing to depending on who's listening. Anyways, getting off track again. Last I left off was having an issue with modern news broadcasting and how they relay information to the public and with the ill respect that they treat the information that they're relaying to the public. I think some of the companies themselves are also not respecting the journalists that are working for said companies. I think people like Tucker Carlson is like the epitome of that point right there. You know that they, regardless of what you think of the guy, he's able to nail the. He's able to get on camera what the public would want to see him, and he's very good at that. And he, at least, okay. So this is the part where it's my opinion. I think he does an excellent job with relaying the proper information in a very, let me put it this way, right? Let me slightly digress. Not everybody can articulate or dissect certain issues worldwide. Some people can understand concepts about certain things. I know that's a very general statement, but I guess what I'm getting at is people are able to dissect and relay information differently than others. Not everybody does it in a very articulative way. For example, like I'm not a very good reader, but I like I said, I love listening to podcasts. So it's not that I can't retain or intake information. It's the way that I retain and intake that information. And so what what modern news, I shouldn't say modern news, what news has always done is relay information all the way down to the newspaper times, relay information in a very easy way to understand. And I think it's to anybody who can do that, relay information in a very easy language, because the English language can get pretty difficult. A lot of people underestimate the English language. Some may even overestimate it sometimes. But anyways, it's not to be ignored that it is difficult to articulate a lot of words and to learn a lot of words, especially if somebody's like an immigrant. They might be able to have good talking points relating a certain subject, but just may not be, articulated in the English language. So again, it's not. There's different ways of doing it, and modern. Excuse me, I keep saying modern. Just news in general has always been very good with that. All the way from the text to the visuals. Now, I believe where I can say modern news has crossed the line is they've taken advantage of that ease of access and ease of understanding, and they've definitely run away with it. So to that is where long form conversation comes in, because I think it gives you time, gives not only the person who's relaying the information time to dissect and relay the information, but it also allows for the consumer, listener, or viewer to do the same. So that's one of the reasons why I love this format and why I definitely wanted to get into it, because I'm on the side of, I guess this is like where people are cold slow. I don't know, but like I like the intake to be slower because I like to take extra looks at it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to just like see one thing and then I'm like, all right, I'm good. No, I like to make sure that if sometimes I'll even put it this way, sometimes it's the repeated information that matters the most. And so if information doesn't get repeated through time, then it's usually either irrelevant in a generalized way or at least irrelevant to the ambitions of a specific person. Okay. So again, with that said, I think there was a line that was crossed between how easy it is to understand news and how easy it is to relay it. Okay, where are we at? So yeah, I just want to relay the disclaimer one more time. The overall goal on my end is not to become some sort of news network. I don't want to become a news network. I really hope I don't. um, I'm just down for some really good conversation. Again, even if it's with myself, apparently, um, and just to have fun with it, you know. And so that's what a lot of this is going to be about. Um, we're coming here to the end, so look, I put down. I wasn't going to do this, but because of how easy it isn't. But you know what? No, let's set the challenge. We're gonna end on a challenge here. Uh, the first one is for myself. I'm not gonna challenge anyone, especially because I really don't think anybody's made it to this point. If you have, oh my god, I'm hitting my mic here. Thank you so much. Uh, you're a real trooper if you've really made it this far. I'd be absolutely amazed. I wouldn't have, probably have stayed this far. I'm only here because it's what I wanted to do, and I'm very stoned. So I think I went a lot longer than what I was supposed to do, but I could care less. So here we go. The challenge. The first one is to me. My first goal is going to be to make it to 50 episodes. Um, it's a pretty big goal. Uh, but one of the things I keep like hearing about, sort of, I don't want to say like on the grapevine, right? Like I don't know. One of the things I just keep hearing about in podcasting is like there's like that whole what's it called, the honeymoon phase or whatever, with where people do like the first 10 to 15 episodes and everything's great, and then after those everything just drops off. uh, I want to get through that, and I feel like the ultimate threshold, like if I can get to 50, I think I'm way beyond that, and we should have a lot of momentum, and the show should really be at least entertaining for like two people at the very minimum. So, and I'm probably one of those people. So, anyways, um, yeah. So the first challenge is for this show to go to 50 episodes, to get to 50 episodes. That's the only way I could think we pass some sort of threshold. It's not going to be easy, especially with everything that's going on, not only with myself, but the world around us. I'm one of the reasons why I haven't been able to release, publish, or just even work or kickstart certain projects of mine is because of the way uh, my life has been forming out, and then how like the world also forms around, and how I have to react to it. That's not always a negative thing. Sometimes it's a really positive thing, but it's again, it's a mix of those. And the point is like it's really hard to predict the future. And so it's going to be challenging to get to 50 episodes, but that's the whole reason. I think to like if I set a challenge for 5 episodes, like I could probably do, if I really wanted to, I could probably like knock them out and just have a real like ADHD moment and just fucking knock them out, and then just like sleep for 2 days. So, that's not good enough. So, or not really difficult enough. So I put it on camera. All three of these cameras call me saying that. I know. I'm sorry to cameras 1 and 3. I haven't looked at y'all too much. I'm sorry, but um, in any case, I'm holding myself accountable. Even if nobody again is viewing this, I'm at least holding myself accountable. So let's get to 50 episodes. Now, again, this wasn't supposed to be an entertaining episode, so I'm sorry for wasting your time. And I promise that on the next episode, I may not waste your time, but I'll try to waste a little bit less of your time. In any case, I have some upcoming guests. Um, lined up. You know, the exact dates I'm not sure, but I got a couple people lined up. We just need to sort them out because I'm not even sure of my schedule in the near future, so I need to kind of work with them on that. But I do have a few guests that are coming on soon that are gonna really kickstart things, and yeah, I can't wait for it. And let's see what happens. You know, I'm here. It's Drigo time. Like let's do it. Let's fucking go for it. Um, I cannot say this enough. If anybody has made it this far, thank you so much for trooping it. This is where I'm really gonna call it. Let's wrap it up right here. Like on a thank you to legit anybody who's made it this far. If you've made it this far, you could spread the word about the show probably like in a few weeks. You don't have to mention this fucking episode. Again, I'm really sorry for wasting your time. But soon, I promise, we're gonna really kickstart some things. Not just in the podcasting level, but with other projects as well. I can't wait for everybody who's gonna be involved to be involved. So let's do it. I'm really happy to have done this. Thank you for one last time, for the millionth time, if anybody's made it this far. Thank you so much. This is gonna be such a cool thing. I can't wait. I'm already like brainstorming a bunch of episodes. So let's fucking go for it. There's so much to do. So much to do. All right, let's end it. Let's end it. God bless. Take care. Buenas noches. Peace out.